Cold seeps through your boots before you even open your eyes. Frost clings to the sandbags above you. Somewhere down the line, a rat scuttles over frozen mud. You breathe out, and the air turns white in front of your face. It's December the 24th, 1914, and for the first time in weeks, the guns have gone quiet. You press yourself against the trench wall, waiting for the silence to break. It doesn't. You are a young British infantryman barely out of your teens, dug into a line of trenches near Ypres, Belgium. 5 months ago, you were told this war would be over by autumn. Instead, you've spent the winter ankle deep in freezing water, listening to shell fire, watching men beside you disappear into the mud. Tonight, though, something is different. Someone down the trench says they can hear singing. You climb up on the fire step and listen, faint but unmistakable. A German voice drifts across no man's land. It's a carol. Stilly night, silent night, you know the tune. Even if you don't know the words, for a moment you forget where you are. Then another voice joins in, and another, until it sounds like a whole choir is rising out of the enemy trench less than 100 yards away. Your sergeant tells everyone to stay alert. This could be a trick, but nobody reaches for their rifle. Somebody near you starts humming along. Then, hesitantly, quietly, your own side begins to sing back. English words this time, the same old hymn, floating out over the frozen wasteland between you and men who an hour ago were trying to kill you. You feel your chest tighten. Not from fear this time, from something harder to name. The stakes here are not what they were yesterday. Yesterday, the danger was a sniper's bullet, a stray shell, trench foot creeping up your leg. Tonight, the danger is different. It's the risk of trusting an enemy soldier not to shoot you the moment you show your head above the parapet. Word spreads down the line that in some sections, men have started shouting greetings across no man's land. A voice yells out in accented English, asking if you'll meet in the middle. Your officer hesitates. Fraternizing with the enemy is against orders. It could get you court-martialed. It could also, if the wrong man misreads the moment, get you shot. But it's Christmas and the guns are silent, and something about the singing has already cracked something open in you that orders can't easily close. You climb out of the trench, your boots sink into frozen mud as you step onto ground that for months has only meant death. No man's land is littered with shell craters and tangled wire, the debris of a war that has already taken tens of thousands of lives on this stretch of front alone. You walk forward slowly, hands visible, half expecting a shot to ring out. It doesn't come. Instead, a German soldier walks toward you from the other side. He's young too, maybe your age. He's wearing a coal scuttle helmet and his coat is as frozen and filthy as yours. You stop a few feet apart. Neither of you speaks the other's language well. He holds out a small tin of something, cigarettes, chocolate, whatever he could spare. You dig into your own pocket, find a tin of bully beef and hand it over. For a moment, the exchange feels almost absurd. You realize you don't know his name and he doesn't know yours, and neither of you needs to around you. More soldiers are climbing out of both trenches, meeting in small clusters across the frozen field. Some shake hands, some show photographs of wives, children, sweethearts back home. Historical accounts from that Christmas describe men from opposing armies burying their dead together in the churned up ground between the lines, standing side by side over graves neither army had been able to reach under fire. In at least one section of the front, soldiers even organized an impromptu football match using a tin can or a real ball. Nobody remembers exactly. Kicked across the frost-hardened earth, you don't join the game, you watch from the edge, still half alert, still half expecting the moment to shatter. It does not that night. The unofficial truce holds for hours, in some places for days, before officers on both sides begin ordering their men back into position, threatening discipline for any further contact with the enemy. Historians studying the Christmas truce of 1914 have noted it wasn't planned by any general or diplomat. It emerged from thousands of individual soldiers on both sides, making small human choices in the space where official orders briefly lost their grip. Researchers who've examined letters and diaries from the event describe a pattern psychologist would later call the power of face-to-face contact in breaking down dehumanization. When you can see another man's frozen breath, his tired eyes, his outstretched hand, it becomes harder to see him only as an enemy military commanders. On both sides understood this instinctively, which is part of why such fraternization was so quickly and firmly stamped out in the years that followed. By the next Christmas in 1915, strict orders and constant shelling made anything like it almost impossible to repeat. What happened on that field near Ypres wasn't really about the war stopping. The war didn't stop. It resumed within days, sometimes within hours, and many of the men who shook hands that night would be dead within the year, killed by the very soldiers they had traded cigarettes and stories with. But for one night, something in human behavior surfaced that no order could fully suppress: the instinct to recognize a shared moment, a shared song, a shared cold, in someone you'd been told was only a target. You climb back into your trench as the light fades. The German soldier's tin of cigarettes still in your pocket. Somewhere down the line the singing has stopped. The guns will start again soon enough. But for now, you sit in the frozen dark and think about a stranger's face, and how easily the line between enemy and human being blurred for one quiet night in the middle of the worst war anyone alive had ever known. More than a century later, people still tell this story every December, not because it changed the war, but because it revealed something true about the people fighting it. Even now, on a quiet winter night, somewhere in the world, someone is discovering the same thing you did in that trench. The distance between us and them is often smaller than the orders suggest.